Powerful, powerful spirits. I myself work with many powerful spirits. And I'm just sitting here today thinking about how powerful the spirits are that I work with. I have, ran into a couple of people that I knew from the past today. And one of them looked completely bugged out on dope, sketching on the street. The other one was a photographer that I used to work with. We used to do photo shoots where I did hair, makeup, wardrobe, and he did the pictures. And he's out of business. But the one thing that those two people have in common is that both of them at one time tried to snake me in business, tried to fuck me over. And as I look back on the lives of many people that I've known that have tried to fuck me over in my life, even people that I never put work on a day in my life, never did any spells, magic on these people, their lives are in torment. They're fucked up. So just to explain how it feels, I'm telling you guys how it feels, how your life feels when you work with very, very powerful spirits. It's as if you live your life and you see people that you used to deal with, and you see people that you used to be friends with, people that did you dirty, did you wrong in any type of way. And like I said, even people you never put work on. Lives are tore apart. And it's like every time I see that, the spirit reminds me, this is their judgment for the wrong things they did to you. This is what happened to them because of the way they treated you. And I just look like, damn, I didn't even, I never put any work on them. But the spirits did. Working with spirits is like having a team of Avengers around you. It's like having a team of invisible superheroes that nobody can see or nobody knows it's there but you. Unless there's another spiritual person who just has eyes to see or can feel it on you. But I'm going to give y'all a story time about the two people that I saw today and what happened in the past and what they did to me and what they're going through. So I told y'all I used to do, hair and makeup for well-renowned photographers, celebrity photographers, etc. here in Dallas. And I used to get paid to do the makeup, to do the hair, to do the wardrobe for these expansive photo shoots. Some of them were published in magazine, different things like that. Maybe I'll include one of them in the clip in this video. So I used to do that on the side as well as renting a chair, doing hair for myself, owning my own business as well. And I owned my own salon for a short time here in Dallas, downtown Dallas. I had a salon and I owned it. And before I owned my salon, I worked with celebrity hairstylists, and I did a lot of big projects on my own doing hair and makeup for well-renowned photographers. And I got into that. It's a whole nother story how I got into that. Well, I was working with a celebrity stylist, and I had a friend that was into modeling. So he was a model, and he used to do set design. So he used to do fabulous set designs. Like, he would build the set from scratch. He would go to Home Depot, build everything, get all the materials, build the set, and have it look like a 1960s era photo shoot, phone booth and all. He would do all kinds of cool, very artistic. So I met him doing a photo shoot for another celebrity photographer that had an underwear clothing line for men. Sexy underwear clothing line for men. He was a well-renowned photographer in Dallas, and I got hooked up with this guy through one of the people that I saw today, one of the photographers I saw today. I'm not going to say his name, but they asked me to go to the shoot, do makeup for a model, and that was my job. So I went to the shoot, did makeup for a model. We were on the roof shooting this scene, which was going to land in 2 magazines, one for the underwear, brand, and then one for Dallas magazine. What was it called? Shit, I'll think of it in a minute. So I'm doing the makeup. I'm on the roof with the girl. I'm on the roof with everybody, the whole set. Everybody's on the roof. And I meet this young guy that is also helping out with the shoot because he does wardrobe. He's a fashion designer, he's a set designer, and he's a model. So he has 3 titles that he does, 3 different pots that he's in. And I met him, and he's cool. He looks unique, very stylish. You know, we become friends. We exchange numbers. Well, he calls me, I don't know, maybe, you know, we talk back and forth in between that shoot for a couple months. But then he calls me about a year later, and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm in the area. You still live downtown? I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, well, I'm going to come through. Let me holler at you. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to chop it up. I want to work on a project with you. I say, cool. So he comes over to my house. We start talking about the project we're going to work on. We did work on a few projects together. I styled him, all this stuff. We're talking about a lot. Well, what I didn't exactly know at the time is that he kind of wanted to use me for my services, to do his hair, to do his beard, to do this and to do that. But he didn't always have money to pay. But in exchange, he said, okay, we'll do TFP. Basically, you know, you do the work, I give you the credit in the photo, so it builds your name up, because this is going to be a big shoot that I'm doing with another well-renowned photographer. So it builds your name up within the community. And you guys who have done work like me know that sometimes you do TFP work, and it builds your name up in the community among photographers and models and different things like that. It helps you to make more money later on. So I agreed to do it. And this time I colored his beard and his hair blonde, and then, you know, we twisted it and we did some cool shit, and he ended up taking some dope pictures. I'll show y'all some of those pictures. And he never gave me credit in the photo. So he was supposed to tell the photographer, hey, you know, make sure you put hair by and at my Instagram name. But he never did it. You know, he was being an asshole. And he did that to me several times. He would leave me out of the credits. And so once I began to see that's how he was, I kind of like knew. And I kind of left him alone and didn't want to deal with him anymore. I actually had to reach out to the photographers who took the pictures on their IG page to tell him, it'd be nice if you'd credit me for this, because this is my work. And so different things like that, because he did not give me the credit or make sure that they added me as a credit for the artwork. Anyway, that was him. Now, that was the one that I saw sketched out on dough, you know, not the last story I told y'all. This is like somebody different. He was like, I don't think he had on shoes. His hair was dirty. Looked like he hadn't taken a bath in months. And I was, you know, when I saw him, you know, I would just wonder, what the fuck is going on with him? You know what I mean? But I didn't realize at the time, you know, that was their karma for all the shit they did to me. Now, as far as the photographer, the one that hooked me up with the underwear shoot and all of that, we used to do a lot of shoots together. I owned like a clothing brand, and I had him do a big shoot for me where I had tons of models lined up, and we were doing our shoot. He did a couple of shoots for me for my clothing store. I used to have a clothing store online. And it was like a 12-hour shoot, big long shoot. Paid him well for it, even though, you know, he was easy to kind of finesse. I didn't really have to pay him, but I paid him. I did the right thing. Paid him to do all my shoots. And this one shoot, I invited a model, a renowned lady model from Dallas, to be involved in my shoot, to model some of my clothing. So I did her hair and makeup. Of course, that was on the house, because it's basically my way of paying her to do my shoot. So she comes in, she models my clothing. I have all these trunks of clothing that I modeled. Now, I have very close count on my clothing. I know how many items of this I have, how many items of that I have. So at the end of the shoot, I'm counting all my clothing to make sure all my clothing was returned by the models that I hired. And I noticed that I have some clothing missing. So I'm like, I know these motherfuckers ain't steal my clothing. So I'm going through like the different bags and of the models. Like, I know these motherfuckers stole my clothing, because it's completely gone. It's missing. Turns out I go into the model that I hired, the renowned model that I hired's bag, and she basically had a couple of SKUs of my clothing. So, me and her had a cool relationship. She had hired me and paid me independently for big shoots that she'd done, magazine shoots. And I'm like, I know she ain't do me like this. Like, what's going on? So I pulled her to the side after I found my clothing in her bag. She wasn't looking. And I said, hey, girl, what's going on? I just looked in your bag and I saw that you had a couple of outfits of mine. Why did you do that? And she says, oh, well, the photographer that I had, okay, I kind of ran out of space. But the photographer that I had do the shoot basically pulled the model to the side and told her, hey, Carla has so many clothes. She has so much stuff. You can grab a couple outfits. I'm sure she doesn't mind. So he told her that I wouldn't mind if she just stole some of my outfits. Now, I didn't pay her to do the shoot. I told her I would give her one outfit, the one of her choice that she modeled in the shoot. She could have one. There was like 3 outfits in her bag, 3 or 4 in her bag. And I said, why did you do this, girl? Like, why did you take my outfit? And she's like, well, the photographer told me that, you didn't mind. You had a bunch of clothing, and he said you wouldn't mind if I took a couple extra. And I was like, what? So I went up to him, and I'm like, oh, you told her she could just have some of my clothes? Like, you told her she could just take... Oh, I didn't mean it like that. So basically, he was hating. So, you know what I mean? He wanted her to say... He was hating that I had my own clothing business, all this, the salon, everything. He was just hating. So I stopped dealing with him. That was the main reason I stopped dealing with him. We were no longer friends after that. And also, he was one of those people who people would just use. Like, he would just not get paid for his shoots and his work. And he would try to involve me. Carla, come do the hair and makeup. How much does it pay? I'm asking him, how much does it pay? Well, I told him I would do it. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done with doing free work. Like, I get paid for my work now. That's your problem. You need to start charging. And anyway, that's a whole nother story. So we fell out. So me seeing him today, basically he's lost his photography business. He used to work for Erykah Badu's hairstylist, and he's done shoots with Erykah Badu. He's done all this shit. He lost everything. He's broke. He's facing eviction. He's about to have no place to live. He's just fucked. And it's just because of the nasty person he is and all the nasty shit he tried to do to me. I believe that working with powerful spirits, you know what I mean? They kick the people's ass. Even people, I never put work on him. Either one of them. They kick everybody's ass in your life who have fucked you over. If you're practicing spirituality right, you will notice that in your life, all the people that have fucked you over, the spirits will whoop their ass, and you never have to put any work on them. You never have to touch them. You don't have to do shit. All you have to do is just practice your practice right. If you practice the correct way, the spirits will handle all of that type of shit and all of the stealing and lying and people who have used you and did you wrong. The spirits will handle them. They will handle them. So for all you spiritual practitioners, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you're practicing your practice right, and your life should improve overall. But I just wanted to come tell y'all that story, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.